No. That's always so nice. I wish I could have done
All right, let's call this meeting to order.
Join me in the pledge.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rear force.
Sure. Please bow your heads and prayerful move here for a moment. Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance as we try to make decisions that are in the best interest of those we serve. We are very appreciative of our new board member. We look forward to getting some positive things done in the future. We ask you to continue to bless the farmers with good weather for the rest of this season so that they may have and recover their crops. We ask in a special way that you protect those who are fighting for our freedoms and their families. We ask all this through your Son. Amen.
Roll call.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Here.
Commissioner Peter
Here. I'll accept a motion to approve the digital audio video recording of the previous board session from Wednesday, July 24th, 2019.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Peter
Approve?
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes. Any adjustments today? Okay, we have, is Kelly here?
I haven't seen her yet.
Okay. Administrators report.
Let's see, we're gonna do board appointments in minutes, I don't need that. Budget commission the other day, revenue is, stable, second half settlement is not in, should be in by the next budget commission, so we'll have an update on the revenue next month. We did talk quickly about sheriff's revenue. I think I mentioned that last month. Talked to him again. He's going to submit a request to Budget Commission. He's only sitting at about 41% right now, so it's about 250 short. He called, left me a message. I didn't get a chance to talk to him again after that, but said he was probably going to request 350 reduction. I did ask for some of our lines that have overachieving, or we got extra funds in, whether expected or not expected, to adjust to help kind of offset that. And plus, we will be closing the Justice Center fund once we get the interest to stop going into that fund. I got to talk to Paul, and so we'll be getting that back, and that's probably about $150,000. So probably ask the sheriff to come in, maybe give us a little bit of an update of what he thinks is going on.
The 150 from the Justice Fund will go into operating or go into capital improvement?
Will actually come to the general fund.
Just to the general fund,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, we can,
Right. we can
Move
do
it.
Yeah, well, yeah, right.
but it does come back to the general fund, since that's who funded it. Other than the bond was the $9 million, the rest came from general fund and the city of Tiffin. So once we close the fund, it comes back to the general fund.
Where are we at with our budget stabilization fund? Did we do anything June 30th?
No, nope.
Okay.
Do
we feel comfortable enough moving any money now?
That's up to you guys, with sheriff's revenue being
No.
where it's at. I don't know if you wanted to hold off, have him come in. Maybe he's got an outlook for
Okay.
what's
I
to
think that's
come.
probably wise.
Not that our revenue's in danger right now, but
Right.
that's
It's a
just-
headwind for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
He may have further reductions.
The sheriff
Right.
usually pulls a rabbit out of house of one type of prisoner or something, yeah.
So to be continued. I'll see if I can get him to come in, kind of give us an update, and like I said, next month we should have settlement in, so see where we're sitting on that. I did want to bring up a board session for August 29th. There may be some schedule conflicts. Do we want to move?
Yeah, can we
that
do,
session, or-
I know that I'm scheduled out at that point. I'm okay that week, either Monday or Friday. I I think that's.
Yeah, I'm out as well, right? That
I'm
Thursday.
available either day, so whatever works between you and Stacy, Mike.
So it's 30th? Is that
Yeah, I would
Friday?
rather do Friday than a Monday.
Anything we can do to keep you happy, we're happy to do it. So the 30th?
Okay, do you want to do, say, 10, 9? Is there any?
10's fine.
Okay.
9's fine. Whatever works for you.
I don't know if we did a work session, that'd be the only thing I didn't know.
All right, we'll get that changed. I think that's all I had that was on the agenda already.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions about some updates here since you're on board. Where are we at? We had some conversation, had multiple conversations regarding software.
Mm-hmm.
You had a contract with the company that, the VIP software,
Yep.
and where are we at with that?
It went over to Derek for approval. Basically, the contract really didn't change. They just updated the language in it. It changed just to say, I don't remember if the last one actually said county auditor, but now it just says Seneca County. I think, yeah, obviously the amount has changed because I think it was still $8,000 from the 1970 contract we had. So not really much has changed with the contract. I know you guys had talked about us doing some presentations with other software vendors. I spoke to Julie about that, and she would like to maybe go over and see some other county offices and that has other software and see how they run. I did reach out to a couple of the other counties, just did a broadcast with my other county administrators and asking them about what software they had used or their auditor uses. And some of the top 3 that I seen was Harris, CMI, and Immunis. So I reached out to them to see what they would do for some demos.
Okay, so there are a couple issues here. One is we've got a contract that hasn't expired, but it's kind of ongoing, right?
Yes,
And that contract currently is signed by the auditor?
yes.
Okay. And there are some covenants that we need to add that we feel are necessary to the contract that Derek is now reviewing.
I don't have anything changed yet in that
Okay.
contract.
So can you
That's
get
what-
us all a copy of that contract for us to go over and decide whether or not there should be some covenant changes?
Yep.
Second issue is that contract, if and when renewed, would be signed by the commissioners.
Yes.
Okay, so any changes to the software would come through this office? Is that the way it should?
If that's the way-
If it were signed by them. I know that there's been some back and forth about that, but that's the way I think that we want to direct it to happen.
Okay, yeah, that's what you guys had said.
Okay, I mean, I'll let the fellow commissioners weigh in on that. And then the next question is, since we're talking about computers, we put together a facility over at the annex that stores, that is a secure facility to store our servers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are all our county servers in that facility at this point?
Most of them, the network
Just
isn't.
not all.
Yeah, just not all.
Do we have a plan in place? I mean, we spent a lot of money to have that be a secured server room.
Right.
For that specific purpose. Do we have a plan in place to make certain that all the county servers are in that secured facility, climate controlled facility?
Yep, we are working on it. I know the current one that we've kind of been worried about is obviously the server that Julie has, just because memory's full, everything, we've been having some difficulty just trying to hope it doesn't go down. We did buy a new server right at the end of the year, last year. I think it's just a matter of Jake and Julie and SSI getting together to get the configuration. They just haven't been able to get on.
So we have a
that.
new server that's not being used at this point in time, and that server is the one that's gonna be moved to the new facility?
Yes.
And do we have any time set up for that?
No, I think it's just a scheduling conflict, whether it was with our IT and SSI.
Okay, well, I
I'm
think that
not
we
sure.
need to stay on that and make sure that that server is in the proper facility. Again, since we did go through the expense of creating a server room and making certain that it was a secure area, and that's where our software people do all their work. It would certainly make sense to have all those together, right?
Yeah. I think the IT committee was working on just policies, so,
That's Commissioner Paradiso's committee?
well,
I guess.
that'll be up for discussion.
So, this is one of
Second.
the committee's hours.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
All right, well, this has been Commissioner Paradiso, this has been a multi-year discussion. We have had significant concerns. When I say we, I'm talking about elected officials and department heads with the current software, the IP software, as it relates to payroll and as it relates to communication between the main server and their offices, as it relates to frustrations. We had a couple of electeds come in and say, unless you change it, we have to hire an additional person. That's where it gets to us when it affects the budget. And that's where we're at right now. We've got 2 or 3 electeds, or department heads, telling us that if we can't get something done by the first of the year, they're gonna have to have another full-time person in their office to do this, when that shouldn't occur, or shouldn't have to occur. So, that's where we're at with this. With budget discussions coming up, I think it's important.
So I'd like to get the minutes from the recent minutes from the IT advisory board and kind of get into that and get myself up to snuff on this. Are we going to discuss, we haven't formally done it, committee assignments?
Sure.
That Ms. Stacy had. We can do that. We don't have to do that now, but maybe by next week we could be able to.
I think it's on our agenda today.
Announce that we're gonna get to it? Okay. Because I know that's one of the committees. So obviously we need a commissioner present there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate you raising your hand.
I don't think I did. But, yeah.
Okay, I just want to move this stuff forward. I don't want to lose it and lose the ball in the sun here.
Okay.
We, from I think the summary is that we're going to work on that contract. You'll give that to each of us to review for
Yep.
any covenants. We will also look at other software products that might be out there before we execute a contract, and we'll make a decision on that soon.
Okay.
From the server standpoint, we want to get all the servers for the county into that secured area at the annex, and make certain that we have the configuration as it should be there. Get the new server, the new server just sitting in a box someplace?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
it's out of the box waiting for
Okay, well, that-
configuration. They
That,
just-
that needs to be done. I mean, I think that we can make certain that our computer people or even that they work for us, right?
Yeah.
Let's get this thing handled.
I saw a draft of the,
AT policy.
The
I
policy
think Holly
thing.
brought it in
yeah.
after our
she-
last meeting.
Yeah, so is that, Julie, do you know, does that just need to be ratified by the IT committee? Is that where that's at?
At the last meeting, it was handed out, I believe,
Okay.
and so the committee hasn't gotten back together to review it.
Is there, excuse me, is there a time set for the next meeting?
Not at this time.
No.
Okay.
We'll get one set up.
Good.
Okay.
Did you wanna mention HR? You said something about HR.
Yeah, I just think that we need, again, not to lose sight of it. We had said that we would get something, a job description written up, and again, this is a budget item, I know, because we have got to figure out where the funds are coming from to employ a full-time HR person.
Right.
You do have a job description written?
Yep, I reached out to multiple counties and also Clemens Nelson, and they have done a lot of HR job descriptions. So I pulled one from Union County because it looks like ours. So so I've got a draft of a contract that I printed a copy for each of you if you want to just kind of look at. And I think I had mentioned it before, but I also have a proposal that if we didn't want to walk into a full-fledged HR department, that, yeah, change subject, that Clemens Nelson did give us an on-site consulting service schedule, that they would be on-site once a week, and that could be an option. Just need to know kind of what direction. We did pull some budgets from other counties. The ones that have replied have been some of the larger counties, so it's an unfair comparison to looking at their budgets, what their HR departments are.
So it's been our desire to see if centralized HR makes sense for Sitka County. And so we had Lori Hall do a study, and it came back with the recommendation would be to have some sort of centralized HR to alleviate one quarter of a person here and half a person there doing HR and have some kind of consistency. The challenge is funding it. So my suggestion is that, we bake in some of these headwinds that we have, maybe find out where the sheriff's going to be at, there's $600,000 revenue at risk there. We've got $500,000 headwind at JFS. Bake it into the budget and see if it's there when we go through this budgeting process. That is my thought.
Yeah, I mean, going back to basics here, we have how many employees?
600?
Yeah, 600, but that's including DD, which they have their own.
Right, but it could all be incorporated together
It
if
could
we
be.
could get it done. So, can you imagine an industry having 400 to 600 employees with no central human resource?
I didn't know we didn't have it.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough that the person at Heidelberg, she's not only HR, but she
Margaret
is.
Randolph.
Yeah, she was the HR person for Erie County.
Yeah.
Okay, so she came in and gave us a little bit of advice, talking about budgets and those kind of things, which we're very appreciative. But every time we talk to someone who has experience, the net answer is that you need to have a full-time HR department as it relates to family medical leave, as it might relate to harassment training. I mean, all kinds of issues that are out there. And there's more and more issues, it seems, every day. And as far as the budgeting goes, I know it'll be a struggle, but I don't know that we can afford not to do it because of the potential liability that we've exposed ourselves to by not having that function within the county.
And
Are we as commissioners taking the lead on this? It's
Yes.
not a separate committee or anything,
Yes.
this is between us here.
This is the committee. We've
Good.
gotten,
I now have
Lori
another
went and
committee
interviewed.
assignment.
Yeah.
That's
Lori
good.
went out and interviewed, sat with Julie and her staff and went around and talked to different people and got input. So we have that report. I guess we should get Tony a copy
Copy
of
of
that
that,
report.
Copy of that, yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
and we do have a current contract with Clemens Nelson, not to exceed 25,000 for the year, so, and most
Something big
employees.
happened or-
Yep, the sheriff and JFS use them for their union negotiations, and a lot of departments handle internally their own HR, and, for the most part, the auditor's office with payroll and some of the health insurance, they're great at answering those questions and helping departments, but it's all kind of fragmented, and so it wasn't our total surprise with the report, but so we're not as bad as we kind of maybe thought we were, so. Okay, I'll get you a copy of those reports.
Anything else from your report, Stacy? Mike, did you have anything else?
I'm good.
Okay, I've got a couple things. Busy weekend this weekend. Franciscan Earth Literacy Center, their 25th gala, and it's 150 years of the Sisters of St. Francis. They serve over 4,000 kids a year, so we have a proclamation that I'm taking out there tonight. And then tomorrow we have it's Rachel's Ride, and it's Heroin Awareness Day over in Fostoria. So we don't need to talk about how bad the heroin addiction is and the implications of that, but we'll be delivering a proclamation there tomorrow. And Sunday is Bascom's ribbon cutting for their new facility, and Bascom EMS is a great partner with Seneca County. the local citizens there passed a levy to fund a new facility there, and we continue to support them with EMS services from, Ken Majors and his group, and providing ambulances, and they do a heroic job of servicing their community and other communities through mutual aid. So plan on attending that. I think it's 1:30 calendar.
Good.
So we've done what we can to help them because they've just been awesome, and it's a great community resource for them. So other than that, next week I'd like to talk about electric vehicle charging stations. We got the opportunity to do a public-private partnership with AEP with some grant funds. So maybe between now and then, if you want to look at some of the things that are happening in the industry and how we can give a little wind to downtown Tiffin. We'll hear from AEP. Hopefully they can reschedule. If not, we'll have to figure that out. So.
He has a vacation day next week, so it depends on what day you need the meeting to be on.
Okay. All right, we can coordinate that.
I think we're Thursday, right?
Yeah, we're Thursday at this point.
And just a reminder, we agreed to do 9:30 for a tri-county ditch. Is that still scheduled?
Yep.
So
Next Thursday.
next Thursday we'll start at 9:30 because of
Which counties?
Wood and what was the other one?
Sandusky. I'm pretty sure.
Wood and Sandusky.
Is that a phone copy?
Yeah.
It takes like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Can you get Tony the packet on that so he can do his research, so he can vote as an
Yeah,
informed
probably,
member?
yeah. I think 3 commissioners can't decide, what do you get 6?
Or 9.
Or 9, yeah.
So we have 2 students in the background. This is called homework. Just so you know, that's.
Tony, Commissioner report.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for, today's my first meeting. I've been here all week in and out, and it's just been great. Everyone's been so supportive. I appreciate that. I do have a person I want to recognize from the county, Mary Lee Krieger. I think many of us know her. She's been nominated and will be receiving the 2019 Outstanding Senior Citizen Award for the Area Agency on Aging. A well-deserved award. There is the ceremony will be on the 22nd at 2 o'clock, and I would like to go to that. She's a friend of mine. She's awesome. And so we've prepared a proclamation on her behalf.
It's just the one that's down in Mansfield or whatever,
Yeah, you took one for the team.
Mary Lee works out at
Yeah.
Autumnwood. If you don't know her.
It's awesome. We've been very fortunate to have
She's
several
tremendous
Yeah.
lady.
people.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, good, I'm glad you're going down, it's a beautiful trip.
Yeah. It'll be nice, so thank you.
Old business. New business, board appointments. I don't, want to hammer that out now.
Do you want
That's his
to,
list, that's it.
That's it?
do you
Yeah,
want to
just
let
hand to it.
maybe Mircha and the students maybe?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any conversation to be had there. I mean,
Okay.
did you look at the list, Mike, or is
No, I mean,
there anything you
the
want?
entire list is his now.
No, this is his list.
I just want to see the list.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, look at that, take a look at some of the committees, and then, we'll ratify it.
Conversation.
We'll trade off, if there's something you have an affinity for, that either Shane or I are on, you'd like to discuss getting on that and trading, we can easily say no, so.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is.
Throw in a future draft pick and. you
Well,
can
if we're
maybe-
right in the middle of something important, and Holly's been working on it, I just don't want that to.
Yeah, I think that one
Catch
of
up
us,
though.
I think, Tony, one of us, Shane or I, will sit in with your first meeting, whichever these
Okay,
things are,
good.
for a transition and go from there.
We do have a couple trying to schedule issue 1. If you just want to decide, Lisa's trying to get issue 1 scheduled. Holly was on that one. We have a Corsa meeting coming up, which I think Kylie and I are going to go to. And the current members, I think, are Holly and Mike. But I did talk to them. I can be your representative, and I think Kylie needs to go, since she is kind of our loss control coordinator, so I'd like her to go. Yeah, it was Holly as the representative and Mike as the alternate, and that will be next next Friday.
You'll have a vote on our behalf, though, you'll be a
If
voting member.
you, if
Okay.
you appoint me as the voting member, and, you know, I don't know if
Yeah, I mean,
You
I would
wanna be
defer to
alternate?
Tony on that because, I mean, Tony's who I would call if I had an insurance question, so. I
Yeah.
mean,
There you go.
And, yeah, any of you are welcome. We'd love for.
if he can go, that's great, but I'm happy to designate you as our,
Okay.
Can we designate Stacy, and then if I go,
Right.
that way
Yep.
we're covered?
You can, yeah, well, you can always fall back and vote. You're always a voting member.
Yeah, so.
So I would move that,
let's do that.
Stacy Wilson be designated as our representative for Corson, as a voting member on our behalf.
second. Voice vote.
And this one can wait, the energy program, that meeting isn't until
I don't
October.
need to vote on this one. Okay.
Stace, for the energy one, we don't need a resolution for that, do we? Or do we want to designate you?
For the energy one, the meeting isn't until October, so if you want a chance, if you want time to think about it, then that's fine. It's not as,
You don't like the Corson meeting?
no, this one's
Yeah,
the Energy Program Board, CCEAO, Energy Board. The representative was Holly and the alternate was Shane. But the
Yeah.
meeting isn't until October.
I'm happy to take that one.
Okay.
All right.
We vote?
I think, yeah, we got a
We're
motion.
good. Second.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Yes?
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes, thank you. All right, we have a few guests in the house. We have today our Science Day students. Whoop, whoop. So, in Ohio, we have the Ohio Science Academy that does the student program. And today in the house, we have Jory and Corbin. Do you guys want to come up? So Corbin, if you could tell us a little bit about what your project was and where you go to school, we'd love to hear about it. And we certainly recognize you for your hard work. My daughter went through the program and learned a lot, and we just can't say enough good things about you and your academic prowess. And we can't beg you hard enough to stay here in our community because we don't want good people like you to leave. So tell us a little bit about your project.
Okay. Well, first, I'm a senior at Columbian this year. And so what I did was I took 3 different types of pain medicine, ibuprofen, aspirin, and naproxen, and I created a model stomach to dissolve these pills over a time of half an hour. And then so what I could do with that rate was I could graph how much medicine would be in the body at a certain period of time. I used 5 hours holistically. And then so I compared the generic and name brand varieties of those two. And so I could tell you which one enters the body faster, which one stays longest, things like that.
Wow, excellent. Jimmy, why didn't you think of that?
Yeah,
You went to
I'm really a science day guy.
Okay, so what's the quickest acting and the longest lasting?
Give us some results.
Okay, so your quickest acting is going to be your name brand all across the board.
Really?
The name brand would dissolve faster. Then because of that, the pill would dissolve faster, obviously, and then so you'll have a quicker half-life. It'll leave the body faster. Whereas your generic brands took a little bit longer to dissolve, but then it gave you like a nice slow curve to where it might set in a little bit later, but you'll get a longer lifespan out of it.
So, I mean, there's, some folks say that some of the pills don't dissolve at all. Did you come up with any of that, any of them? That they're more chalk than they are medicine?
So didn't really see a lot of that. It all broke up.
When you're
In
his
every
age,
trial.
you ask these questions. He's the
Yeah,
senior
this actually,
statesman.
So no trials showed that particularly.
Yeah, anything that has to do with pain relief, I want to know about. As old guys, we need to know this stuff. All right.
Okay, what do you got?
Hi, my name's Jory. I'll be a junior at Columbian, and my project was testing alternative straws, so alternative being alternative to plastic straws. So yeah, recently in the news, there's been a lot of issues going on with what are we gonna do with the plastic epidemic. Like by the year 2050, plastic will outweigh fish in the ocean by weight. So I was like trying to figure out a way that we could keep straws, because I know they're a necessity to some people. So I tested straws made out of pasta and straws made out of hay, and I tested them 2 different ways. One was I let them soak in water, and one was I let them be dry. And I ran 1,000 milliliters of water through them and wanted to see like if they would last or not. And my results were that pasta straws delivered more water, but when tested with hot water, they were dissolved very quickly. So the best alternative to a plastic straw is a hay straw.
Wow.
So if you run a
Yeah.
pasta straw through hot water, you can just cook it and then
Yeah,
go ahead and make.
and it turns into
That's it,
Yeah.
okay, that's. I know
Mike's
how
thinking
that
about
works.
spaghetti sauce. I know well, that's great. Congratulations. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for coming in. Can we get a
Yeah,
picture
come
up
back
here?
here, guys.
Let's put them in the chairs, future commissioners.
Yeah, look,
All right.
Go ahead, give him one. There you go.
cool.
Grab the gavel.
Yeah, right? There's a photo.
Jimmy makes us all look good, so tell, what do you want? We good?
Yeah, I think that looks great. All right, I'm gonna take a couple here. There's the first one. One more. Okay, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. We appreciate it. Round of applause.
So who did you work with? Which teachers? Mrs. Marshall? Both of you? Yeah, tell her I said hello. We're very proud of you.
Jimmy, you can get those?
Yeah, we're all set. Do you want to let them know they don't have to stay?
Yeah, you don't have to stay. We have plenty of fun other things to do here, but none of them quite as fun as Science Day.
Yes.
I agree with that, I agree.
If you were in class, you would probably stay, but since you're not in class.
And we'll tell Mrs. Marshall that you left here at 11.
That's true.
That's great.
Merchant, do you want to talk to us now and we'll get you going?
Sure.
Okay. So we have the renewal of the TCAP grant, and we have Merchant here to answer any questions we might have and ask, I guess, us to sign the, where are we at? Are we at past the MOU and into the contract? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, correct. We need to, actually, by the end of the day, I need to send the contract back to Ohio Department of Rehab and Corrections. So I'm hoping for signatures today. The TCAP grant, as you guys know, was awarded approximately 18 months ago, almost 2 years ago, to Seneca County. $270,088 for a 2-year period. We received notification 2 weeks ago that Seneca County received the renewal for the same amount for fiscal year 2020 and 2021. The funds, we met with the sheriff and the common police court judges. The amounts of the breakdown amounts will remain the same as the previous 2 years. Seneca County Sheriff's Office, $121,539.60. The courts, which they contract with Oriana House for services, same amount, $121,539.60. And the mental health board asked for additional treatment services, $27,008.80. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer. I did speak with Ron Green, which is the intensive probation officer, and as of this week, he has 53 individuals who are on intensive probation with him. Since he was hired by Oriana House, he still has everybody on probation. Nobody has been released or discharged. These are felony cases. I think one thing that is really important about TCAP for everybody to know, it really, I think, planted the seed for the judges in Seneca County to start the drug recovery programs to help individuals through the court system. It actually really helped us and Oriana House to apply for 3 different federal grants. We needed some seed money, so these were the seed money they allow us. Since TCAP was received through Oriana House, and I want to acknowledge them, they were able to bring approximately $3 million back to services to Seneca County for drug treatment.
Unrelated. Go ahead.
So, have we sent anybody to the state penitentiary?
In the last 2 years, there has been 1 individual that was sent to state penitentiary for approximately either 2 or 3 days.
Okay, so.
So he was.
The only penalties that we've incurred are for that one individual?
Correct. The only penalty, we probably lost between $170 and $200.
How much?
$170 or $200, so it has been minimum. The individual was there approximately 2 days, and we got him right back. It was kind of a error. We realized, oops, he's a TCAP, we need to bring him back. And this was very early in the process.
And I know you service Wyandotte County. Do you have any reason to know why they didn't take TCAP?
This is going to be on record about Wyandotte County. Honestly, they don't have the treatment services developed that we as a board have in Seneca and Sandusky. They just don't have the resources available. They have really small jail. I believe they have 12 jail cells. I'm not sure if you guys know that, compared to how many Seneca County has. Okay, so they have 12 jail cells. We have an extremely hard time delivering any behavioral health services in the Wyandotte County jail because they just don't have the space. I don't know if you guys know, they don't have a juvenile detention center. So they have a lot of transfers. They have a lot of people going to Crawford, going all over, some coming to Seneca County. So they just have, honestly, they just have limited resources. They don't have, Oriana House doesn't have the services developed in Wyandotte County. I think again, because they have limited resources. I think he could.
Turned it down. Richland County has turned it down as well. So.
I know some counties initially turned it down. Is my understanding their number really increased now when this new MOU came out. There were 10 counties. They were kind of like almost mandated to be part of it. The 10 largest, and I believe the 5 out of the 10 in the first round they didn't want to participate. Now 10 out of 10 want to participate. So it's my understanding it's increasing. I don't think it's just saving money by sending people to the state prison versus keeping them in a county jail. I think it helps us, again, with seed money, and it helps us making us available for other federal state grants.
Do we know how many of those 53 went through the county jail?
No, I don't have that
How much
information.
time they spent?
And I think I'm pretty sure I can have Ron give you guys a report. He's been on vacation, so I got these numbers even without him being in office. But I'm sure he can get that to you guys.
Yeah, we could, when we approved this originally, we asked for some metrics to be reported back to us, because presumably at some point, the TCAP funding will evaporate, and, it's going to come back towards the general fund, and we'd like to know, what kind of success and what the metrics are, so that we can make, informed policy decisions on whether we would continue to fund some of the things that are in there. I know there's a lot of good stuff happening.
Well, I know the sheriff's office is using the funds for electronic monitoring and the
Sure.
community works program.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think there's a story to be told there, and we're not getting that story. So, we like to make decisions based on data, so.
Okay.
Well, on a related story, positive side, that there is a pivot graduation that is coming up very soon.
There was last night.
It was last night?
Yes.
Okay, so.
There was last night was an amazing event. We had 7 people who graduated the program last night. We did put a little social media post. Honestly, I think we need to be proud. I honestly think it's the best drug recovery program in the state of Ohio, hands down.
Yeah.
With what they have going on now, because of TCAP, I'm not sure if you guys know, but it's indirectly affecting them in a negative way. Through DRC, Oriana House used to receive another grant that was called JERI grant that they are not receiving, and Seneca County is losing $470,000 because of that. And the reason DRC cannot renew it is because more counties are taking TCAP funds. So in their overall budget, where they disburse funds in 3 or 4 different line items, TCAP is one of the line items. And because so many more counties jump on TCAP now, they are very limited for the JERI grant line items. So now in our board district, Sandusky County lost 1.1 million in treatment, and Seneca County now is losing 470,000. So we're working hard now, and actually I sent some grant applications this week. We're working hard to bring other funds to Seneca County to assist the judges with pivot.
So the money shot is, and how many people did we graduate from the pivot program?
Last night 7, and approximately 6 months ago 2.
Okay.
But these 7 has been in the longest drug recovery program in the state of Ohio. I think they've been in the program.
Yeah, we're not saying they wouldn't have made it on their own, but certainly there's a high percentage of chance that they would not have.
Correct.
So we have 7 people instead of having names on the 3rd page of the paper.
Correct.
We've got 7 folks who are now active, productive citizens, young people, I assume.
The good thing is all 7 are full-time employed. All 7 been clean over a year.
Yeah, that's the money shot there, that's,
And I think total they have approximately 60 or 70 in the program
yeah. That's
as of
wonderful.
today.
That's wonderful.
So can you run down those details on the 53, how much time they spent in the jail and how many days?
Yes. I can maybe send Nikki or Stacy an email with what maybe I believe you guys want as data, but then
Yeah.
you guys can add additional stuff, and as soon as Ron Green gets back, I can get that information.
Okay. Yep, appreciate it.
We do have the contract and resolution. Do you guys
Sure.
want me to read now? Or
Sure.
we can read it? Okay. A resolution authorizing the agreement for the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction Subsidy Grant for targeted community alternatives to prison, the TCAP, for fiscal year 2020 and 2021.
Move for, do we need a separate approval on this? Move for approval?
Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings.
Yes. All right, what else we got here? Weights and measures truck. Do you want this now?
Yes, yeah, I will.
You want it now?
Thank you. I think she might need the official copy, I don't know.
Yeah, here, I'll have you guys sign this back page and then you can take it with you.
Okay, I'll
We're
wait,
full
I'll wait.
service commission here.
I'll wait.
I guess we're gonna sign the back page and you can take it with you. That's okay.
Well, there's another page to sign.
Weights and measures, is that Julie or is that you? Who's talking about this?
I just saw it on the agenda. so-
Yeah. I know, John, we had talked about weights and measures
Yeah,
truck
yeah.
during budget time, and I know
I thought we did this. Did we not do this?
we didn't put the money in place.
Oh, okay.
We talked about it,
Okay.
and now I know Ron and John have been kind of working together to kind of try to figure out what they would need. So I think they're kind of looking anywhere between the $25,000 and $30,000 range. They're not really shooting for something new, maybe just a year or two old. But John wanted me to make sure that, because I looked and it was in our list, but we didn't put any money aside for it, so.
Yeah.
Julie, do you do the scales at the doctor's offices too?
I did ask that question.
Yeah, because I know mine's not right.
I agree.
Okay, all right, just checking.
That's a good one.
Julie, do you have anything to add about the truck? I mean, we talked about this. I think we were generally in agreement that we wanted to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of an anomaly in the state. I think that this county has a van that we are using, so a truck is really the way to go. Keep in mind, and my suggestion is that like a 3/4 ton pickup truck. Extended cab, not necessarily crew cab, because the weights are well over 1,000.
Yeah.
And along with the cage that the Sentinel students have built for us to house the weights. So there's always that constant weight load in it.
Yeah. Would you be amenable for some of the county branding to go on the truck?
I was thinking of some type of a logo.
Can we use the county branding?
I haven't formally adopted that.
Could we use just a little county branding? A window sticker?
Let's brainstorm, yes.
Who's buying?
That sounds like no to me.
I'm thinking we could do a hybrid.
Who's buying the truck?
You are.
We probably ought to have a county logo. Is it a county truck?
It is a county truck.
Then it has a county logo.
But I wanted
Just
to.
like maintenance and whatever else, right?
I think it's important to the taxpayers to identify that it's weights and measures vehicle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Great.
All right, I'll have John get me a firm number and we'll
Put money in place, yeah.
put money in place.
So
when
the
I get it.
logo with weights and measures below it.
Yeah. We don't do doctor's offices. That's across the tailgate.
Yeah,
And that would include a cap, correct? I assume that was on your radar.
Yeah, yep. That's what John said you, or Ron and him were talking about. Okay, I'll get that ready for.
Okay, budget adjustments. I'm looking for the good news in here.
We had students in here today.
Yeah, okay.
And Nikki just said Kelly Beckett had to reschedule, something came up, so
Okay.
last minute came up.
They
so.
do important work, we will let them reschedule.
Okay, adjustments, I have, a supplemental appropriation for $250,000. This was discussed at a meeting a couple weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, for Job and Family Services. They came in with their presentation and said they were looking for $250 this year, and could be up to $500,000 next year, which we will then talk about again at budget time. We went ahead and did the sub-app for $250. If there was any more discussion or any thoughts to do more this year and less next year in the budget. But I wanted to make sure I at least got it started, got it in, if there was any more discussion before we approved it, but I wanted to make sure we got it in so we didn't forget it. And I do think Tony was at that meeting, so he has a little bit of knowledge about
I mean,
this.
if I remember.
His eyes got big.
Yes, it did.
Wow. But if I remember right, they asked for 250, but they were very clear that they're gonna come back.
Right.
So I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
You need to be, okay, so today you're asking that we approve 250?
Right.
Okay. And so when do we expect them back? I mean, we're,
Budget time.
Yeah.
okay, so I got it.
She'll bake it into the budget.
So that's when we would decide this year, next year.
Yeah.
Well, this 250s now.
Now, but there may be more needs for this year yet?
No,
Okay.
it's just whether we wanted to,
I understand.
I don't like, calling it
I got
front
it.
loading if we wanted
We
to.
got it, it's just budget.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Make it into-
I have another request, supplemental appropriation for $5,000. This is to our travel line. I think Commissioner Kirschner is looking to, going to, with that SIDEC, do you want to?
Yeah, this is Midwest Japanese Conference, and I really hesitated to put this together, but the governor's office called. The mayor is going, I think those of you who might have read it in the paper. The mayor, the governor, Representative Reineke, Taiho, our company here, is going to host an evening, and so is American Fine Center. We will meet other potential manufacturers in Japan who may have an interest in this area, Northwest Ohio. Hopefully we can talk them into Seneca County. So it is September 6th through the 14th. Starts in Tokyo and ends up in a city called Nagoya. Again, it'll be the governor's contingency, Jobs Ohio folks, the mayor of the city of Tiffin, Aaron, Representative Reineke, and myself representing Seneca County. So I would be happy to offer this trip to either of you who might want to go rather than me, but I think it's important that we have representation there in the event that there's some company that might like to move this way and may not particularly want to be within a corporate limits of a city, may want to be in one of the villages or townships. That's really why we're going.
So that's the $5,000 additional in travel. The next one is a supplemental appropriation. This is at the request from Common Pleas. They've received the, of course I don't have what the acronyms are, the SAMHSA grant. I think that was their $2 million grant that they received. So she needs $200,000 into her contract services line into that new fund.
Is this the one where the judges went to a conference, were approved as a,
It's 250.
something going on there?
Jimmy, can you help me?
Sorry, what was that?
That was the SAMHSA, was the
Mental
$2
health?
million,
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
I'd have to look it up, but
Yeah,
that
sounds
that's-
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
we
sounds
were
right.
designated as a specific county, I don't know what all the
Yeah.
language was, but because of the judges' participation,
Right.
we were able to get a $2 million grant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of a last minute add to our agenda. She said she needed it in for today,
So
so.
we have this money, and we're just transferring.
We'll get it over the next 5 years.
It's over, right, yeah, 400 a year, something like
Yeah.
that, 400K a year, yeah.
400 a year for 5 years.
That's what I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
was, yeah.
That's correct.
This isn't.
Because we talked about-
They got their grants.
Yeah, I mean, Commissioner Thomas, we talked about the same thing
Okay.
that you were concerned about, Nurse Shu, and rightfully so. So now we are developing this bureaucracy, for lack of a better way of saying it, at $400,000 a year. What happens 5 years from now when that goes away? So we've got to make sure that we monitor that very closely.
Okay.
Okay. I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the Children's Services. This is then again moving the $250,000 from our transfers out to the transfers in. I have a resolution authorizing a contract service agreement with Cornerstone Historical Building Restoration LLC for window repair restoration at the Carriage House located at the Seneca County Museum. Authorizing Stacy Wilson as county administrator to sign retroactive to Friday, August 2nd.
This is asking for forgiveness instead of permission?
Well, I have the authority, but we wanted to put it in resolution.
Got it.
This is the $10,000 that the Historical Society got as a grant from the Historic Trust. What are you laughing at? Did
No
I say
idea.
something wrong?
Oh, no, it wasn't you, you're good.
Okay, all right.
Not you.
Split them up. They can-
Yeah, right.
It's too early in the morning for us to be near one another.
I have resolution setting time date to accept sealed bids for the lease farmland situated in section 35, Township of Hopewell, Seneca County. This will be scheduled for Thursday, September 19th at 10 a.m. here at the Commissioner's office. And this is for 63.75 acres. And is this out by the airport?
Yes, that's the airport one.
Okay. And then I have a resolution authorizing annual assessments upon benefited landowners as defined in section 6131.01 of the Ohio Revised Code. Approval of proposed maintenance work for the several single county ditches presently under maintenance work for 2019, and approval for requests for maintenance assessments for maintenance work performed as submitted by the Seneca Soil and Water Conservation District Ditch Maintenance Department and approved by the Seneca County Engineer. They're again pursuant to section 6137.03.
Yeah, you want to read 6137.
Yeah, you won't
Make
be
a
able
note of
to-
that.
Once you start, you won't be able to put it down there.
Compelling.
Because it'll be on your chest and you'll be asleep.
It just absorbs that way. And that's all I have.
I'll accept a motion to approve the resolutions as.
Second.
Okay.
Mike first, Tony second. Any discussion?
Sign that, that's just good.
Oh, that's just good. Just the resolution.
Any further discussion?
No, none.
Roll call.
Commissioner Perduso?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes. Okay, we typically, obviously, as you know, have public comment at the end. So if you have anything else that you need to add for the good of the cause, it's a good time to do that. But we open it up to the floor.
Looks like it's a construction zone over here. We got the orange cones.
I know, I saw that.
Oh, they met.
Oh, they coordinated today.
Former commissioner?
Appreciate it.
Where did you sit when you were in this seat?
I think I sat in all three of them at one time or another. But Dave Sauber used to like to come in and move stuff around all the time, so you never knew exactly where you were sitting or what you're
Whatever
talking
your
about.
name.
Yeah, whatever it was. So, Ben Nutter
Welcome.
with Sunny Farms Landfill. Congratulations, Commissioner Paradiso. I hope you enjoy your time on the board. I don't I think congratulations are in order. Wait till you get old.
That's early, but yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
Ben,
early to tell.
He's Italian Catholic. That's as close to a Democrat you're going to get.
You're right. I guess right. Yeah, there's no Democrats left in Seneca County, as told by the polling. I would just like to give the commissioners our latest update. We were at the fair. Sunny Farms Landfill was at the fair all week. Saw, I think, all of you at one time or another, and it was really good in terms of community outreach, to let the public know what we're doing and what we've accomplished so far, and our plans to continue to improve and as we move forward, so we never sort of end up in that difficult place and time as we did early this year. So we continue to do that. We have, I was in a capital expenditure budgeting meeting. We're going to build we have, a hydrogen sulfide treatment system there that is really more of a temporary system. It's very expensive to operate, and we're going to make a plant that will clean up that gas and it will be marketable. So that is the long-term goal. So we're getting more and more green, and that also and then, so we hear, when you burn fossil fuels, you create sulfur dioxide, which is, a gas that you can only create so much of it. But everything that burns fossil fuels creates it. But we will no longer be burning that then, and we will not be creating any of that. So we'll be very, very green, and that's real money that we are going to spend. Within the next couple days, we will have $600,000 in a trust that will be administered by a trustee or board of trustees to that local area for worthwhile causes and that sort of thing. So we're not exactly sure how we want to set that up, but we know we're going to put the money on deposit and figure out.
Is the health board part of that oversight, or who runs it?
No. Well, at this
It's
moment,
new,
I
right?
run it, but I don't want to run it. We're setting up the rules. So the trust will be a trustee or a board of trustees, and we will create some criteria where, it can't go to any one individual. We want it to be, for the greater good, that kind of thing. But no, it doesn't go to the Board of Health. There is a pot of money that went to them, but it doesn't go to the commissioners. It goes to Hopewell Loudon School, Fostoria School, different things like that.
Is this a one-time thing, the money will be spent, or are you gonna?
Well,
leave it
that's
in there?
another thing that we've been discussing, and I actually was speaking with the mayor of Fostoria and trying to figure out and I would like your input as well. Do we do $10,000, $60,000 grants and get it all dispersed in a year? Do we do so much in a year and allow that money to generate more money so that it goes even further? We really have a blank piece of paper on how to make that money do the most good. And that's what we want. But Sunny Farms Landfill, and certainly Ben Nutter, does not want to be in charge of dispersing, because you very quickly run the risk of turning something that's positive into something that's negative.
Yeah, I think you'll find more good projects if you give some time to it. If you
Right.
say it's gotta go, then there'll be projects, but you may not find the best ones that are ripe at that particular moment. So,
I think
yeah,
that's
agree with
that's
that.
wise policy. I think you're right. I think it makes sense that you would put it out over a period of time and allow that money to make a little money. I mean, that's a substantial, you can speak to that. You can make a little money on that
Yeah,
amount.
this interest rate environment would be tough, but I do agree. I do concur with Commissioner Thomas. I think you probably get, not only would it be better for the community, but I think it would be better for your company to get a little more bang for the buck over a period of time. I mean, if you do it all at once, you'll get a headline, right?
Yeah.
But if you do it over 5 years, you get 5 headlines.
It's just like Mark Landish, one of your attorneys, used to tell me on the opposite of that. If you got bad news, get it all out on one day.
Exactly. Well, speaking of that, this board has been critical of the landfill over a period of time. And I know that we're not completely over the hill yet, so to speak, but I know that not only we got the odor cleaned up, We're taking care of the gases that people were concerned about. And from a financial standpoint, there is a negotiated settlement with OSS, the Solid Waste District, and you're in the middle of getting negotiated settlements with the townships and the county. So kudos to you for that. Thank you very much. Keep that pattern going and allow us to support you and hire more people.
Well, I appreciate that, and yeah, you were critical, but you were right to do so. You were not wrong in that. We deserved every bit of that, and but you know, it's our mission to make sure that we show continuous improvement into the future, and we're going to do that. So I got little kids, man. I got to work a lot more years. So, well, they're not so little anymore, but
Yeah, right.
He's taller than you are.
What, right?
Yeah, right. Well, thank you.
Thanks for
All right.
continuing to update us and report. If anything changes in your world, please, feel free to come in here and explain it, because we want to stay ahead of that.
Yeah.
And part of the challenge that we've had over the last year is we got behind on the news cycle, right?
Got behind on the communication, and that's squarely in our court. But you're going to see me, as you have for the last year. You'll continue to see me, and the other boards will see me as well, so we can remain in constant communication. There are times when we do things construction-wise. For instance, right now, we're adding to our gas field. So to pull the gas out of the hill, you have to have wells and different things, and you have to connect those wells up. Well, some of the wells we put in as we build it, which is a new thing that we do, because that way you don't have to expose trash and the potential for odor to be released. But we have to connect those pipes up, so we do have to disturb some of the previously placed waste, and that has the potential for odors, although we take many, many precautions to prevent that, in terms of we have this giant sucker thing, for lack of a better, you know what I mean, to pull
try to
the
get
gas
technical
up.
on it.
Yeah, right. You can tell I'm an environmental engineer. No, I'm not. But yeah, so we do a lot of those things that are not required, but are best business practice.
Yeah.
And that's where we want to be. We want to be. My bosses have told me that we want to be the standard bearer for landfills, not a problem. We want people to come to look at us and say, this is how landfills are supposed to be operated. And we will.
We agree with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and not only do they say it, because words sometimes ring hollow, but when they open up their checkbook,
Yeah.
that's when it means something. And they have done everything they said they would do from the beginning, and they will continue to do so.
Well, we continue to get the communications, hey, we're drilling and.
Yep. You
number
should have
6
just got one the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to get those, and those are also, you have your contact list around the landfill.
We do.
So that those folks are getting notified too if there's any deviation from current operations.
We do, and anyone that would like to be on that list can visit sunnyfarms.com and submit their email, and we'll add them to the list, and they'll get, hey, we're doing this today, the potential exists that you may smell. And we do that because if you drive by and you smell something, we don't want the, oh, here we go again. You know what I mean? Because there may be a specific reason, and so we know this is the 13th week that we haven't emitted gas unless we were doing something specifically that, exposed an area. So that's pretty good, and we monitor it all. And so, but we're very open, and another thing we're gonna do for community outreach, and I think this is cool, we're gonna do Earth Day in the spring. We're gonna get with Hopewell Loudon schools and Fostoria schools and get whatever age appropriate the school thinks to do a field trip out there, and get people out there so they understand what's going on. And if you do that over an extended period of time, people will understand more what's happening in their community and that kind of thing. So kind of excited about that one. I thought that was a cool idea.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ben.
Congratulations again, Commissioner. I think.
Anything else?
Appreciate it.
Audrey, anything happening at TSEP?
All the time.
All the time? Good, that's what we pay for. All right, and anything else? Thank you.